going on, YouTube? Wherever you are at, I hope it's warmer than it is right here, because it is cold as shit right here. Us folks from the south, we're not used to this under 20-degree weather that we're having right now. I think right now inside my shop it is something around 17, 18 degrees. I've had to work late. It's been awful. But here's the update, and here is the scoop to the new rules for the 405 list, plus the list races that went on last night. I'm filming this on Tuesday evening, and I'm going to try to have it uploaded in the next day or so. The first thing that I want to throw out there right fast is the intro of the show, where it comes on and says, you know, don't do this crazy shit we do at home. Have you noticed that it's been somebody different just about every episode this season? Pretty sure it was Asian this week. It's been Farm Truck, it's been Ryan, it's been Chuck, it's been a lot of them. First race I want to talk about is Doc and Reaper. And, you know, if you think back to last week, Doc and Reaper raced twice, and Doc got in the first time, and the second time Reaper put that car to work. That car worked that whole 660. It done what he wants it to do and thinks it's capable of doing every pass. I don't know if it was just pure luck. 1 out of every 50 passes that car gets down, that car makes it. The other 49, you take all the excuses that can happen, you throw them up in the air and grab one, and that's what you got. You never know. It's so inconsistent. The car would be a decent or better no prep, bracket, grudge, whatever car than what they're trying to do with it now. But Reaper said in the beginning he wanted to run up that list and quit. But I think that the whole street outlaws following, or however how you want to word it, is too much. Once you get sucked into that lifestyle, that, you know, celebrity status, so to speak, you can't walk away from it. It sucks you in. I mean, it's like a drug. You got to have more and more. And if I was him, I'd be the same way. I can't, you know, I'm not knocking the guy. You know, do what you do, get your money, whatever. But last night, with the new rules that happened, and we will talk about them here in a minute, you know, that made him lose 2 or 3 spots because of what happened in that race. And that's going to kick those guys off that does the, you know, 1 in every 50 pass and is able to wait 7 days. You know, that's done. The 7-day rule is done, and, you know, the only way you're waiting 7 days is if you drop 3 spots. 2 spots if you didn't race, 3 if you did and lost. Let's talk about Chief for a second and what happened with him last night as far as the racing aspect of it goes. 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I want to say it was the week before the Bristol race, he said he was going to drop down to race Doc. But he dropped down, and it was him, Doc, and Dave standing there. And if what he said was true, wanting to race Doc, that was his opportunity. All 3 of them were standing there, and he said, I'm going to give you about 1 second to call me out before I call out Dave. And he said, call him out. If he really wanted to race him, he wouldn't have called him out. He would have went ahead and raced the man right there. I've already heard people saying that he let Dave win. You know, no, that's just wasn't his night. You know, if it's your night, it's your night. If it's not, it's not. I feel like Chief's head is not in the game at all right now. But, you know, who am I to judge? Okay, after Chief and Dave went down the track, Dave wins, and Dave and Monza races. Okay, Monza's head of Dave. That was a drag race. I love seeing races like that. I hate it, you know, somebody shit shows, something happens, you know, they knock the tires off, they mess up, they do this, they do that. I hate to see that happen. I love to see 2 wicked fast cars go down there side by side, and, you know, you don't know who wins until it slows it down to where you can watch it. I love races like that. You know, Monza and Sean, that's always the case for them too. But then was a drag race last night. That car of Monza's is on top of his game. Monza is scared of hurting that car. I don't blame him. That is one of the best looking cars on that list. He's scared of hurting that car. He's scared of pushing that car. These new rules, No more 7 days Monza. It's either be there and do it or lose 3 spots. And with him being friends with Doc, he knows what it's like to fall down the rungs of the ladder, so to speak, and having to climb your way back up. It's so much easier just to race and hope for the best than it is to lose the spots and have to fight your way back up. That list is fast. Everybody on that list is fast. You got Shane back on it. Shane is wicked fast. You got Lutz coming on that list. And Doc being down there in the bottom, that's what he's fixing to be racing, where Monza, if he can hold on and actually race that car more than one time a night, he can stay where he's at and not have to worry about them cars till, next season. But, only time will tell, and we'll see what's going to happen. With that being said, these new rules are going to kill these nitrous guys because they have to race more than 1 or 2 times a night. Them nitrous motors can't do that. They cannot hold up. When you're spraying 1,000 horsepower nitrous down the throat of one of them big blocks, it's not going to hold up pass after pass after pass like they're trying to do or they're wanting it to do. Now, the only other race that I want to talk about would be Ryan and Chuck. And, Chuck had an excuse, and I knew something was wrong from the jump. That car didn't go out like it normally does. That Fireball Camaro is a wicked, wicked car. It can make passes after passes. It can make the times. It can make the ETs. When he first started, people didn't, give the car credit, but he come from no prep, or prep racetracks, and is putting that car, the cars went 383s. That car is the fastest car on the property any given night. If he can put it down to the ground, it will go, and it will go laps, and it will go passes, and it will outrun anything there consecutively over and over. Mark my words, wait and see. There's nobody in the 405 right now that can hang with that car on the street, no prep, or just, at a regular prep track. Mark my words, wait, watch, you'll see. All right, now let's talk about those new rules and how they're going to affect the list, coming up, and where those rules come from. To start with, I noticed 2 or 3 things from when Chief was talking about the rules. Number 1, he called it the Street Outlaws list, not my list, not the 405 list, not the list of the baddest MFers on the street, like he has said for 10 seasons. He said the Street Outlaws list. Okay, Discovery Channel owns Street Outlaws, so they made the new rules. Also, he was reading all those rules from his phone, which, hey, that was a lot to remember. I'm not going to read a whole lot into that, but as much as he loves this sport and as much as he loves, the whole racing, everything about it, I feel like if that was his rules, he wouldn't have to read them from a list. He would know them. And also, Chief was gone for a couple of weeks. In real life, it was more than 1 week or 2 weeks. He was gone for a minute. The contracts and all that is where all this come from. It didn't come from him sitting around and thought about, which, the 7-day rule, it's done unless you want to drop down 2 spots. But let me see if I can break down the rules for you a little bit better. Okay, I think that this goes back to the JJ arm drop. Okay, when JJ done that, he gave those producers, the tech guys, the camera guys and all that, a certain amount of time in between each race. And they had to have the cameras in those cars or they wasn't going to get filmed. They scrambled, they done it, they got it. If you go back to Cash days when Kai Kelly won it versus Dave in Plan B, it showed on TV that, Kai Kelly was scrambling trying to get that intake on to get up out of the line. He had 2 or 3 minutes before he was going to cut him out. None of that happened. That took an hour and a half. That wasn't real. That what didn't happen was fake. But, the racing was real, but the time limits and all that was fake. When JJ done the arm drop, he said, you can film it if you want to or not. Didn't care. They got it done. They realized they could do it, so there's a Hollywood guy somewhere saying, well, if they've done it once, they can do it again. That's where that's coming from. Next week, it's going to start with last night's list race. And They're getting more episodes out of each list race than what they used to. I mean, if you're a Hollywood somewhere sitting behind a desk, it makes more sense. If you're a race car, it doesn't. They're milking it for every dime they can get out of it, and they're gonna end up hurting the show. Wait and watch. They're gonna end up killing the show by doing what they're doing. Chief even said it's costing us more money by dragging them out like we are. He said that in last night's episode. You know, Chief said that the biggest problem was the 7-day rule. That is for the guys that beat on their cars like crazy and legitimately break it and can't race. It's not for somebody like Monza, Reaper. You know, I've seen Reaper walk up to Chief and say, well, it's got a little oil leak or a little blah, blah, blah. And, you know, like Chief said, hell, every car there had a little tiny oil leak or a little tranny leak or whatever. And Reaper walked up to him and said, it's not going to hurt anything, but I'd rather wait 7 days. You know, he didn't have a choice. You know, that's his prerogative. If he wanted to wait 7 days, he could, and he did. And, you know, that's what they're trying to get rid of. So, basically, if you break your car racing, you're going to lose 3 spots in one night by racing once. You know, when Shane called out Reaper last night, you know, he just had to give that spot up. That's the new. That's what's going to happen. You know, Reaper has bitched about the 7-day rule, the playing games and all that. Well, last night, it come back to bite him in the ass because he would have done it. If it would have been the other way around, he wouldn't have been near as mad. He would have took his spot. You know, he didn't want to talk to Shane. But, you know, that's the way it is. You know, all these nitrous cars cannot do this. They cannot, which his problem wasn't nitrous related, but those cars cannot do this. They're not going to be able to do this. It's not going to happen. They're going to burn them motors down to the ground. And, you know, Reaper is coming with a new car, but there's still 2 or 3 that has not got rid of nitrous. They don't want to. They're hung on it. They're trying to make a statement. And the statement has been made. And that statement is, you can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. Monza has a twin-turbo motor sitting in his shop. But these guys don't have enough time to get over the learning curve of how to do it. Especially now with all the stuff and all the appearances that's going on during the downtime. When their cars are getting, you know, upgraded and fixed and all that. They can't. Dominator is the best example of that. On TV time, he is off the list. He is the best example of that. Okay, another new rule. You make a call out and you lose. You cannot call that person back out until you defend the spot that you're in. If you're number 4 and you call out the number 3 guy and you lose, you can't turn right around and call number 3 out again until you have defended number 4 spot to prove that you deserve to be at least number 4 before you can call out number 3 again. And the last rule is, you know, the 15 minutes in between each round. It was a cluster last night, but I feel like they'll get that figured out. There are going to be a lot of, you know, spot changing going on before everybody figures it out. And these new rules do benefit the turbo and pro charge guys a lot more than they do the nitrous guys. But there's a list. There's the rules broken down a little better than what I thought they said last night. But with all that being said, I'm going to end this video right here. It's too cold to stand out here any longer. Also, don't forget to comment down below. I would like to know where everybody's from. In the comments below, please put where you're from, and you can even put how cold it is if you want to, because it's cold as shit right here. But send all your questions, all your comments, all to the email address on the screen. It's right here somewhere, right in here. Send all your comments, questions, you know, info, anything you want me to know. Send it right there. Thanks for watching. Godspeed.